Hello and welcome to Library Salad. Today's episode is Coffee or Tea, What Shall It Be? Brought to you by the Monroeville Public Library in Pennsylvania. I'm Alice and we'll toss around some ideas going on coffee and tea. Everybody has their preference. That's great. My preference happens to be tea. We're not trying to change anyone's opinion on which one they like because that would be a really difficult thing to do. So back in 2019, a company by the name of OnePoll did a survey on behalf of the Chinet company. You may remember Chinet is the people who produce cups and plates, all that are disposable. They would want to know about what people want with their coffee tea. Now, what they found out was, first off, was how many cups did each group like to partake in each day. They found out the coffee drinkers actually drank more. They had 3.4 cups per day, and the tea fans were 2.7. Now, from there, it was a matter of what kind of personality type is more likely to drink either one of those. Now, for the coffee drinkers, would you think that would be an introvert or an extrovert? Answer is they are going to be introverts, most likely, making the tea drinkers the extroverts or ambiverts, meaning they are a little bit of both. Moving on, sleep habits. Coffee drinkers, light sleepers or average sleepers? They would be the light sleepers, making the tea drinkers average sleepers. And regarding pets, coffee drinkers actually prefer dogs, while tea drinkers prefer cats. Does that sound right to everybody out there? Is that what's going on? And coffee drinkers are most likely to enjoy their coffee plain, just black, and that they consider tea drinking to be too boring. I'm getting a head shake over there, all right? And then the tea drinkers, the fact that they will actually add sugar to their tea. I'm just reading what I got. And that the fact that tea drinkers don't care for coffee because they believe it has too much caffeine. So those are the differences, but what are some of the similarities? Health-wise, both coffee and tea actually do have a large amount of antioxidants. Those would be the compounds that will clean cells. These antioxidants will also help to slow the aging process. So you've got the benefits no matter which type of the two beverages that you partake in, and they will also both reduce inflammation, which is a big deal as one gets older, so I hear. So as long as things are done in moderation, both will really have a lot of health benefits. Americans do certainly prefer coffee. We know that to be true. But what are the chances, people ask, that Americans will increase their, give me a word here, increase their intake. Intake is a good word. Intake.
Consumption?
Consumption, yes, consumption.
Consumptive intake?
Yes. You learn so much on this show. To increase their consumption of tea and decrease for coffee. Experts are saying not likely at all. The fact is that it's the way things are perceived and what the outcome is going to be. For example, tea drinkers, and when you think of tea, you think of the process as being a slow process. It's enjoyed because when you think of tea, you think of sipping. Sipping tea is different than drinking more quickly. And There's even, hold on. Yes, the process of making tea. Because when you make tea, you have a lot of choices. The fact that there's actually 20,000 types of tea. So it gives you a chance to experiment with the different ones. You can even have tea leaves. Same thing here. And steeping tea, again, takes time. This is a cute one. My friend Michelle got me this. This is a strainer, which is also like this, that you will put the loose tea leaves into either here or here. And this one is actually called a manatee. If you recognize him as a manatee, and the fact that if you get the little joke on that, manatee, okay? So,
You have to explain it.
if you have to explain it, that's correct. Anyway, he sits on the side, that steeps. So, all of that is why people who sort of want a lot of bang for their buck will drink the coffee, because of the fact that something's done more quickly, in that even the phrase going to grab a cup of coffee. And when people, even when you see people maybe in a coffee shop, what do they have with them? They probably have a laptop. So there's multitasking there, and coffee is caffeinated. What does everybody say? That until they have their cup of coffee with the caffeine, don't talk to them. So that's a lot of the differences and why people believe that Americans will continue to really love their coffee. Now, tea. We'll continue with tea, then we'll move over to coffee. Also, when you think of tea, I think of things like a tea party. That's something that's planned, is lingered over. There's a lot of history to it. Many cultures do have specific ways that they enjoy that tea. So I had never made scones before. Now, if you think of tea and you think of tea parties, you think of scones. So I had made these scones, and I will do the link to them on the Facebook. And what do you think of when you think of scones? That's right, clotted cream. I have never had clotted cream. Stop making faces, Rich. I have, so.
What do you think of when you think of scones?
Clotted cream. Yes, it's true. Look it up, people. So
everyone
anyway,
watching this, if you've ever heard of clotted cream, please send a note.
yeah, please send a note. You want to say, yes, I have heard of it. Anyway, clotted cream is time-consuming to make. Clotted cream actually takes between 12 and 24 hours for the cream on the bottom to rise to the top. Therefore, the clotted on top, clotted cream. So what I did was I looked up at the library a book, Come to Tea, from Stephanie Dunwind, all about things like a tea party. And what I saw was a mock Devonshire cream. Same thing as clotted cream, I'm told. So in order to cut back on 24 hours, I took a cup of Cool Whip, half a cup of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of confection sugar, just folded it all together, and this is what I've got.
So counterfeit clotted cream is what you got.
That's correct. I did try it earlier, and it was really very good. I was again, I'm just saying that compared to nothing else I've tasted, it was very good. So we taste like this, and it's very nice together. You can put strawberry jam together, and if you're going to be having a tea party, you should be using your Fascinator. I'm sure everyone's got one in their closet. So now on to coffee. Problem is that we film this right before dinner, and the scones are really good. So that's why I'm still chewing. Anyway, coffee. Now, we know about the Americans' love for coffee. They actually drink 400 million cups per day. That's not one person. Talking the whole country altogether. And the fact that coffee is actually, black coffee, 1 single calorie per cup. That's really good. Now, when one adds things to it, that's when you can get up into the 600 and 700 calories per cup. That's up to you. No judgments here. But there's different ways to make coffee go from ordinary to a higher level. And here's one that you may not have heard of. I had gotten this from the library. This is the What Breathes Through Its Bud by Dr. Emily Grossman. Here's a fun fact on this one. Now, the question is, coffee tastes better when the coffee beans have been pooped out of which animal? Okay, so close up on this one, because you're going to get your choice of, is it a prairie dog? Is it a civet cat? A desert rat? Or a guinea pig? I was expecting some music. Okay, fine. Okay, the answer is B, the civet cat. In Indonesia, there is an animal who actually likes to eat what they call the what?
The sign's falling apart.
That's okay. We'll just do it. Okay, back to the book. Okay, the civet cat actually lost my spot. Actually, does eat these. It's almost like a fruit-covered coffee bean. So when it digests it digests the fruit, which tastes like a cherry, and will poop out the actual coffee bean. That coffee bean, they do clean it, will make what is considered to be an extremely good cup of coffee. In the United States, a cup of that coffee will actually go for $80, that's an $80 per cup. Now, one thing that people actually look out for is that there is some of these, this coffee that is produced from these animals in the wild. Others are produced by those in a cage, and we certainly wouldn't want the ones in the cage who may be treated poorly to be part of this. So they're looking for these animals, which out in the wild, these are gathered, and there's a fact. I had no idea. And this is what a good book at the library can get you. Now, lastly is the fact that another similarity is both coffee and tea done very well as a cold beverage. Iced tea, very popular even all year round. Iced coffee, popular, but although I don't care for coffee, and when I tried to taste this earlier, there was a face made, but the way my mother used to make it is the only way that I would drink it is, this is melted a little bit, it's been a long time since we started this. Anyway, fill the cup with a good brand of ice cream. Then you're going to simply pour in your cooled coffee, like that. We were trying to use up one of the K-Cups that had a flavoring to it because Rich isn't a fan of those. So this actually has a little caramel in it too. So, hope you enjoyed this. Enjoy your next cup of coffee or tea. And basically, if you don't like coffee like this, because it's mostly ice cream, let's just be serious. Okay, enjoy.